Hey everyone, your designers are here. I'm Anita at Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
And I'm Yvonne at Stone Gable.
And I'm Kelly at My Soulful Home.
We've got tips and tricks and decorating advice for you today, so let's get started.
Today is episode 275, Coziest Recipes for Fall. And today we not only have tips and tricks, but we might have treats for you too, because it's Halloween, ladies.
Just being together is a treat, isn't it?
Oh,
yeah.
Isn't it so? Yeah. So we hope you're having a nice Halloween wherever you are, whatever you do for Halloween. We have some Halloween traditions at our house. Do you guys have Halloween traditions at your house?
I don't know that we have Halloween traditions other than, giving out candy and things like that.
Do you get a
we
lot
don't
of people
really
at
have
your
much
door?
here.
None. And since we've lived here, we don't get anybody.
So
Well,
that's
that's
not
not
a lot
true.
of giving out candy.
No. Well, we go to the church and do things with that instead.
Yeah, well, I used to take my kids to the church. They used to have a fall festival, and we would take them when they were little, and they would have candy and, other little kind of ride things. And it was more fun for them.
I just have to tell you this about my son, because he's the only boy amongst all of us. We all have girls except my one boy. My son, Christopher, because I would make their costumes every year. And I would go all out because I loved that. And I would say to them, okay, you have to decide what you're going to be. He'd start in January and be so excited and change his mind. And every year he'd come up with this fantastical something. He wanted to be like Zorro, or he wanted to be, Dracula. And I would make all these costumes. And then he wanted to be Robin Hood one year and Rocky from, Rocky Balboa from the Rocky series.
How impressive.
Oh, and he would have the most fun. But when he was little, he would get so excited about going trick-or-treating. He had a lot of energy. He would literally wear himself out, and we would go around our little neighborhood, get in the car and drive to my mom's neighborhood. And he would fall asleep, and that would be it. He'd miss the big stuff. He did that so many years.
Many years. Oh, no.
Yes.
Well, I guess it was all about the costume,
Totally.
He didn't care about the candy.
No, he really did care about the candy. And his sister would have to go up with the little, the jack-o'-lantern plastic containers and say, and she would hate it. Can I have one for my brother? She always would say, they think I'm so greedy.
Oh, that's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jackie. What a good sister.
Yeah, she's a really good sister. But yeah, he would get so excited that he'd go to about 4 houses, and we drive to my mom's, and he would just totally be out. That would be done.
Too much. Just passed out. That's
in
hilarious.
this little Dracula outfit, drooling out the side of his mouth. He was so cute. But then I said that they divide their candy up, and maybe that was our tradition. After we come home, they'd make a big pile, and then they just divide all their candy up, and it was really fun watching them do that.
Yeah. My kids and their friends do that. I put the blanket down, a quilt down, and everybody pours out. Then there's the pile of Mary Janes. Somebody has.
Yeah. No, I actually like those. The Zagnuts, not so much. Mary Janes,
that's
yes.
so funny. Yeah, we have some man in our neighborhood that he likes the Mary Janes. He's the dad of somebody. Yeah, so they save them for him. But yeah, and then they trade, and it's fun. And then we get pizzas and stuff. Yeah, it's a really fun night.
Oh, that's so cute. Now, what's your favorite Halloween candy?
I'm not such a candy girl, but I do like a Tootsie Roll or a mini Twix.
A good old Tootsie Roll.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well,
How
I always
about you,
like the
Anita?
Reese's Piece. Oh, Reese's Pieces or Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Oh, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup is mine too.
Of course,
Oh,
now
wow.
that I'm too old for, quote unquote candy, I eat the dark chocolate peanut butter cups at Trader Joe's.
Oh.
You know,
They have medicinal
it's good.
qualities. Yeah.
It's pretty much the same thing.
I think it's really, really healthy to have that with a nice red wine as well.
I knew wine was going to come into this conversation.
That's really good
if it's dark chocolate, it's healthy.
Exactly. Okay, so obviously we're thinking about food today.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought that we would do a coziest recipes for fall because, we set all these beautiful tables and there's really never any food on them. So we might as well start putting some food out on these pretty tables and enjoying them. And fall is just such a wonderful time to be, cooking up some yummy things for your family or for a crowd if you're having people over. And we've gotten some responses throughout the last year or two that we've been doing this, that you guys really enjoy these more entertaining type episodes. So we thought we'd toss one in now for the fall, and maybe we'll toss another one in as we get closer to Christmas. So today we're just going to share some ideas, and it might be a full-on recipe that we'll link to in the show notes, or it might be just something that we kind of cook up as we go along and we tweak something that we get at the sort of pre-made at the grocery store. And then I'm sure we will delve into, ways to display them and share them with family and friends.
I have to say, my fall go-to thing that I have to have every fall is WASSAIL that I make.
Ooh, I love it.
And it, WASSAIL can mean a lot of different things. And back,
what does WASSAIL mean?
Well, I think Anita? At one point it was kind of an alcoholic apple drink.
Yeah, it's okay. I associate that more with the Yuletide, but it's fall.
Well, I think if it's fall, because it's got cinnamon in it.
Yum.
And I put cinnamon, allspice.
Apple cider, is that what you use?
Yeah, you use apple cider, a little bit of
bourbon,
pineapple juice, or orange juice. Well, I don't put alcohol in mine, but I mean, I think you really could. But it's served warm, so yeah, I mean that's true. I guess I serve it more around Christmas time, but it's got cinnamon and apples.
Absolutely. If you go to Williamsburg, go to Williamsburg, that's what they have out. WASSAIL is so big down there in the fall.
Now, how did you say it differently, Yvonne? You said WASSAIL? And Anita said
it was a little something different there.
A little something?
I think she added some alcohol to hers.
Okay. So I'm going to have Yvonne's version.
I know you were.
I do like, every time you say bourbon and ginger for Bobby, I'm like, ooh, gotta have one of those next time I know Bobby. I do like a bourbon and ginger.
That's his winter. That's his fall and winter drink.
So now, Anita, do you cook this up on the stove and you get it all warm, and then is it
you add
warm?
Cloves, allspice, and cinnamon, and then a little brown sugar, and then like I said, the orange juice or pineapple juice with apple cider, and you put it on your stove, and it makes your whole house smell so wonderful.
Oh, it's like aromatherapy too.
So it just smells divine. It tastes delicious. And then if you've got kind of a sore throat or something, it's just really so comforting. Or if it's cold outside, it's just such a very comforting drink. And I think of the fall recipes and being things that I like, things that are just feel very, like we said, comfort foods. But also there's some recipes that I think of that like Kevin grew up with that I love to serve because for him, it's a childhood memory.
Oh, so isn't that nice? That's wonderful.
Now to serve things, that kind of give you comfort maybe from your childhood. So, for example, I always love to serve her stew. It's something that I remember from when we were first married. And his mother was a very good cook, and we had some wonderful meals over there. And so I have all of her recipes. And so it's nice to be able to make those same things.
Oh, wow.
I know. I have the quintessential pumpkin recipe because you bake it in a 3-pound pumpkin. Now, a 3-pound pumpkin, if you would take your hands just and make like you're making a big ball, so your fingertips touch, and spread it out about an inch. That's about a 3-pound pumpkin.
Okay.
And what you do, it's called Gruyere sausage scallioned baked pumpkin.
Okay, and you had me at Gruyere, and then I went deeper in. I'm like inside the pumpkin now, making my way out.
So what you do is you take a pumpkin, about a 3-pound pumpkin, you cut the top off, and you scoop out the seeds. And by the way, we'll talk about seeds because they make you can make the best tasting, really delicious snack out of seeds. And you leave the flesh in, but you take out like the gut stuff. Mm-hmm. And then you make this beautiful stuffing, almost like with bread and Gruyere cheese and sausage and scallions and yummy good stuff. Man. You stuff the pumpkin and you put it in the oven. Now you put the top next to it, because if you put the top on it, it won't fit into probably one of your oven. You put it in the top part of your oven, the top third, and you bake it. And I have that on my blog, and we'll put a link in. And what you do then is you serve it. You just take it out, you put the top back on it, and you've got this whole pumpkin. And I just serve it on a pretty platter. And we take the top, and it's so piping hot. And then you just scoop it out along with the pumpkin flesh. That becomes your vegetable.
Oh my goodness, that sounds wonderful.
Oh, it is so delicious.
Whoa.
Every time I make it, people go crazy for this. I mean, I love to take it places because it is so impressive looking and so easy.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. It's Gruyere, sausage, and scallion baked pumpkin.
I love to make pumpkin pancakes in the fall. And that's a family favorite. And I actually have a gluten-free recipe. And they're just very simple to make and incredibly delicious. They taste like pumpkin pie, only it's a pancake.
Oh. Okay.
I would like that.
We might have to stop.
Can we stay at breakfast?
Sure.
In this area, there's something called baked oatmeal. Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of it, but so is Anita. We love oatmeal.
Oh, you would love this. I mean, maybe it does have like brown sugar and stuff in it. But it's pumpkin spice baked oatmeal.
I am so hungry right now.
I know. And you make it in a 9x13.
Is this your first blog post when you did like the...
Oh, no, that was my regular baked oatmeal. Now I have a pumpkin spice.
This is the pumpkin
My very first,
oatmeal.
you can actually see my very first blog post if you just go to Stone Gable and look up, or just Google Stone Gable baked oatmeal. And I did it in a 9x13 glass pan. And I did it I took pictures with a point and shoot camera, and to style it, I put a tea towel beside it and thought it was like so good. But I kept it up there because it's like, you've come a long way, baby.
Yeah.
But that recipe's good. But the pumpkin spice baked oatmeal, it comes out almost like, and it's not a cake, but that's how the consistency. It's not like gooey like oatmeal. It's more like a cake. You can cut it into slices.
Oh, wow.
We put it in a bowl with milk.
Oh.
And we eat it, and it is so delicious.
Oh, I'm just picturing like, who was that? Like little Oliver Twist. When I have some more, please. Like that sounds like something they would have given you when you lived in Scotland.
Tomorrow I teach Bible study, so I'm going to take 2 big containers of that. I have treat, so that's what I'm taking for treat tomorrow.
I think I'm going to fly over to Pennsylvania for tomorrow.
Or you could just fly over to my blog and find the recipe.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that instead.
It's a really goodie.
I actually do have a really great pumpkin seed recipe, and I will link to that. I don't like to open up my pumpkins. My girls are always like, please make the seeds. And it's super, super easy and involves some Old Bay spice. I mean, like,
that sounds so good.
So easy. And then a few other spices in there. And, gosh, I mean, they bring them to school. And last year I actually made like little individual bags for my daughter and all her friends because they kept asking her and they were eating out of her bag. So I say, everybody get their own bag. So definitely a crowd pleaser with that. Don't you just love a great recommendation from a friend? Well, we're delighted to be recommending these companies and their wonderful products to you today. And let them know your friends at DTT sent you. Go ahead, clean out your closet. Then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor. And I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. I love to cook in the fall, like on maybe a Sunday or something. And I learned over the years, because usually on the weekends we're doing projects, or I'm doing a project, or I'm going to spend the day in the garden or something like that. Or maybe I'm out with my girls, volleyball, things like that. And so we're gone the whole day. So I really I smartened up. I don't know what year it was, but at some point I realized, like, if I started early and then I could come in, get cleaned up from the shower, or come in from volleyball, or come in from wherever we were, and dinner is already made. So it's such a great way to do it. And I have done it like this for years, particularly not during the week, but on the weekends, I'll do this. Especially if I have a new recipe or something, I'll just get up early and I'll start it all. And if it's something like that has to bake for a long time or something, you end up ordering a pizza if you wait till the last minute. Because I'm always, in the garden until it's dark out, or we're out until later than we thought we were going to be, or something like that. So I love to start a new recipe like that. But also I like to sort of take the easy route sometimes when I can and just tweak things. So I just did something with tomato soup, which was a really easy tweak. I got a couple of pounds of the Roma tomatoes. Ooh. And I cut them all and I put them on a cookie sheet and drizzled them with some olive oil, salt and pepper, and just put them in at 250 for, kind of a while. I don't even know how long it was. You just keep checking them at least over an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
Make sun-dried tomatoes?
No, I made tomato soup.
Oh.
And, you see it's kind of like, what is the other thing where, you start to, like if you're going to do spinach and you're like, I have all these bags of spinach. And then you cook the spinach and you're like, oh, wow, look, I have
a tablespoon
of spinach. Like, I don't know. That kind of happens with the tomatoes too, when you're like, I'm making soup. And then you're like, oh, look, I made all this effort and I made a cup.
Well, of course, if you're cooking them in the oven, all the liquid evaporates. Right. You probably hardly had anything
So
left.
Here's the easy cheat.
But it intensifies the flavor.
But here's the easy cheat.
That is the most delicious tablespoon of soup I've ever had.
Ever. So get a can of the already crushed up tomatoes. And if you can get like the oven roasted, Muir Glen is an organic brand, and they do those. So get 1 or 2 cans of those and do your maybe 4 or 5 pounds of Romas in the oven, put them in, in the morning or whenever, and just leave them and check on them every once in a while. And then you're going to also want to get a carton of the Trader Joe's creamy tomato soup that you'll see at Trader Joe's. You could get the
a carton.
Yeah, it comes in one of those cartons. They're kind of like the kind of like sometimes chicken broth comes in those.
I've never seen like a. Well, never mind. I
know because it's the saddest of sad that you have no Trader Joe's. Right?
It is the saddest of sad.
Yeah. So anyway, you're going to have those ingredients on hand, and then you're going to do your aromas. Then you're going to take them out, and you're going to swirl. And you're going to put some garlic if you're a garlic lover. So we don't want to have any vampires around here. We love the garlic. So I chop up some garlic and throw that in with the aromas. When they're done, just put them in your blender, swirl them around a little bit. Then put them in a pot and then add in the can of already chopped tomatoes and pour in the thing from Trader Joe's. Oh my gosh. And then you could do some croutons and maybe some Parmesan cheese. And it is so easy. And it's like really pretty much homemade soup, a little cheat. And and I had so much of it. It lasted for days upon days upon days.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. So good.
I mean, and it reminds me, I make a red pepper bisque that I got from the recipe from the Lancaster here in Houston at the hotel. And it is really incredible. And you put a scoop of homemade tabbouleh in the center but it's got no dairy, but you would never guess that from tasting it. It's so creamy tasting.
Yum.
But the base is a chicken broth. So I was just thinking about that, thinking, I've got to make that. It's just, it's finally soup weather here in Houston.
I'll tell you another soup that I have. I make a butternut squash soup, and you make it, and you blend it. I use my stick blender for it, and you add.
I should get one of those.
You have an immersion blender?
Yes, an immersion blender. They're wonderful, and it has sausage in it, so it's not totally vegetarian, which I love. Because I am such a carnivore, and it has this wonderful flavor. Again, it's on my blog, so we'll put it in the show notes. And I have a beef and more beef barley soup that you make in a slow cooker that is out of this world.
Well, that sounds
so
good
easy.
Too.
If you make it with a chuck roast. And it
beef and more beef.
Because there's lots of beef in it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah. And because you use a beef stock, it's just really delicious. You know, if we're going to make a soup, it's going to have lots of meat in it. And I also have my nanny's vegetable soup. She made it. My mom made it. I made it. Her mother made it. So it's one of those, I call them heritage recipes. And I do have that on my blog. And it's one of those that takes a lot of time, but oh my goodness, it is so worth it. And you've never had anything like it because it's a Hungarian version. And don't leave out the turnip.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's one of those recipes that I do like to start early in the day. It's really not that hard once you've got it done, but there's just sort of, a lot of moving parts in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's from Ina. It's actually from Ina, via Ina, I should say, but actually from Mario Batali.
Mm-hmm.
So yummy from Babbo. It is spicy turkey meatballs and spaghetti. I'm telling you guys, these are the best meatballs I've ever had in my entire life. They are so good. My kids ask for me to make this over and over again. There's pork sausage, prosciutto in there, Asiago. Oh, it's breadcrumbs from rustic bread. I mean, it's just so good. So I can try to find this on the internet. I'm pretty sure it's on there. I have it in the Barefoot Contessa, How Easy Is That book?
Oh, yes.
And if you have that book, it's on page 158, and I would highly recommend it. Meatballs may not be the top of your list when you think of like fall because we think pumpkin, but anything cozy.
I think of that though. It's
cozy
comfort food.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I have another one, and I first was introduced to this one of my very first year's teaching. So that'll tell you how old this recipe is. And it's called raw apple cake. And it is really a must try. You have to make this. It's so super, super easy. I'm not a big baker. I don't particularly love to bake, but I make this every single fall because it is just like fall in your mouth. And you don't have to cook the apples. You slice them up with the peel on raw, and you put them in this delicious cake. And nothing is better than it warm with a scoop of vanilla ice cream.
Oh, a la mode.
Yes.
No.
But it's not like a light cake. It's like a very dense, heavy, wonderful, moist cake.
Yum.
You know, so it's, it's a fall cake.
Well, and this is something that I love to make. That's really something you can have all day is a boursin. I make my own boursin cheese spread.
How do you make that? I'd love to do that. Do you use Philadelphia cream cheese? Is that what you use?
Well, you use some cream cheese and some softened butter and mix in some garlic. And then I add oregano, basil, dill weeds, marjoram, thyme, and some pepper. And mix it all up in your food processor or whatever. And then you can form it into a pretty,
you could shape it into a pumpkin.
Shape it into a pumpkin.
If you were making a blog post about it.
That's right.
And you probably would do that if you're making a blog post about it.
Right. And that would just be wonderful on some warm bread. I mean, I'm thinking, and there's
with my tomato soup.
There's a fabulous bakery. So, I love my gluten-free stuff, but every now and then I do have, and they have a fabulous bakery around the corner from me. And it's like a European bakery, and they have all those crusty breads and sourdoughs. And it's just,
if you're going to fall off the gluten wagon, you might as well
killing me. Yeah.
Well, and it's walking distance from my house. It's just amazing.
So you can walk it off when you get home.
Oh my goodness. It's fantastic. So
it's like you didn't even eat that baguette. You got to walk all the way home.
So, I mean, some soups, some beautiful, some wonderful, the boursin spread on there with the butter. It's just such a simple pleasure to have some fresh bread and the bread.
Yeah, I always, you see that in the grocery store, Boursin, and I just thought that was the brand. I didn't know that was like a type of cheese spread. Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh, so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. We're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health. Potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co/DTT WASSAIL.co/DTT and use the code DTT.
I don't know. It may just be the brand. That's what my recipe says. But yeah, it's really
it's
good.
An herb cheese, but I don't think it's made. I mean, it's not like made with a cream cheese because it does have a different texture, but that's probably a close enough knockoff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
pretty close.
Mm-hmm. I love me some boursin. I love it. So yum. So I'm really willing to give it a try. And that's so good. Like if you have like a half a bagel in the morning for breakfast with a little schmear of boursin, it's amazing.
A little schmear. Here's a really easy way to go for a Sunday dinner or even a weeknight dinner. How about just roasting a chicken? Usually I'll do two sort of medium-sized ones.
And it's so easy.
It's so easy. And then I'll just,
easy.
if you have to clean out the cavity or whatnot, but I'll stuff it with rosemary from the garden or, whatever herbs I might have on hand. And then I score a lemon and I just plunk it in there and then tie the little legs together. What a difference when you have the lemon inside of it. The lemon infuses the meat. It makes it so moist.
And it's so bright. It has that bright.
Oh, yeah. It brightens up everything.
Mm-hmm. The other thing you can do when you do that is stick half of a garlic head. Like cut it in half.
Good one.
And stick it in the cavity along with it. That makes it delicious.
Yeah. And oh my goodness. And I love a chicken soup with matzo ball chicken soup and I think one of the secrets to making that so good is to definitely add lots of lemon juice.
Oh yeah.
And it's just the smell of that chicken soup in the house. Oh.
And I do have to say this. I do make the best chicken soup in the whole world. I'm sorry. I know it sounds like I'm so braggy.
All right.
No, I know. I seriously
it sounds a little
do.
braggy.
No, it's just
no, it's just the truth.
It is a fact. No, it truly is. I learned how to make chicken soup from my grandmother, and there is an art to it, but it's so easy. I mean, you just need a lot of time to cook it. And I don't use any chicken, broth from a box or anything.
It's the stock that makes the difference.
Yes.
Right? Well, and that's why I'll do 2 chickens because then I boil them down and stock it up.
Yes.
Oh, there you
and
go.
Here's the thing. When you make chicken noodle soup, do not cook your noodles in the soup. Mm-hmm. Cook them separately and keep them separately. Put them in the bottom of the bowl and then pour the soup on top. It'll make such a difference.
Because they
just keep it soggy,
expanding and getting soggy.
Yeah, and you sort of get a starchy taste to it, and you want just a beautiful, bright, warm taste.
That's a great tip because a lot of people wouldn't think of that.
Well, you can also, again,
put them in the bottom.
I've got that on I would say if you're going to make one, maybe make the pumpkin, baked pumpkin.
Oh, I'm making that this weekend.
Make the chicken noodle soup because that's really, really good.
But would you make that for me today? Because I don't feel so good.
Oh, you need chicken noodle
soup.
Well, here's what I do. If I know I'm going to be home, especially, if on a cold day, if I get up in the morning, I throw I usually use a whole chicken or chicken legs, or you can use wings or backs or whatever. And you get that all in and you make your stock. And then if you can't make the soup that day, you can actually freeze it. And then you've got all the stock to make the chicken soup. Mm-hmm. Which is, I make a huge vat of it when I make it. And then I usually freeze some of the stock and then make some for soup. And we just eat it for dinner because it's, it's pretty hearty. And depending on how many noodles, you've got a big meal. You can do rice. I just like it chicken noodle soup with lots of vegetables and chicken, even without the noodles, if you want to go a little, gluten-free.
Oh, wait, I have to go eat something. I don't know.
I know. I was going to tell you also, what about making roasted root vegetables? Just on a rimmed baking sheet, tossed with olive oil and some herbs and salt. Yeah. And putting them in and just letting them roast. Oh, I could eat a bowl full of those.
Oh,
Here's
I
a
love
super
roast
cheat
vegetables
that I've been doing. I get those little, those little nubby carrots. They seem like
Like they're
the
not
ones
even real
that get
carrots.
whittled down, you mean?
Yeah, the ones that are, they're peeled and they're in those, there's a little, but I always get them for my kids for their lunches because, hey, better than
The mini carrots?
the mini carrots, those little nubby things. So, sometimes on a weeknight, if you're busy, you're like, oh, I got to get the carrots and peel them and cut them. And I've just been taking the bag of those and whatever I'm doing, a chicken or what have you, or sometimes even on their own. And I blanch them in the microwave for maybe 3 minutes in some water so they start to cook a little bit. And then you can put whatever you want to put them, olive oil, salt, throw in some garlic, whatever, and then just put them in the oven.
Or just put them around your chicken.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're doing a chicken, but if you're not even doing that, if you're doing something else and you just want to make those for a side dish, super easy. So don't feel like you have roasted vegetables. That'll take 6 hours. It really doesn't.
Roasted vegetables take 30 minutes. So easy peasy. And they're so delicious. Yum. Now I'm starvingly hungry.
Yeah. I'm crazy hungry.
So I'm so sorry, but we're going to have to stop here because we're so hungry. We've actually got to go get something to eat before we do another episode. Just remember, we're here to give you the best recipes on earth and help you create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Hey, everybody, we want to thank you so much for listening to Decorating Tips and Tricks. And we want to make it even easier for you to listen. And it's easier if you subscribe. You just click the subscribe button on our website, www.decoratingtipsandtricks.com, or you can subscribe through Apple Podcast or any of your favorite podcast listeners. So until next time.